This ain't just a channel, this is BBTV.
It's Truthful Tuesday. No sugarcoating, no polite lies, just the kind of honesty that makes people nod slowly and rethink their life decisions. Let's talk about it.
A boss be rising, BBTV's igniting, turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel road to the neon dream, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss be rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it.
All right, y'all, come on in. Get settled, grab your coffee, your sweet tea, your water, Dr. Pepper, whatever you need, because today is one of those days where we are not tiptoeing around feelings. We are walking straight through them. This is AskABee, and if you are new here, this is where we take real stories, real mess, real human behavior, and we break it down without babying it and, without pretending that grown adults don't know exactly what they're doing half the time. So today we've got family drama, weddings blowing up, loyalty being tested, and the fine line between keeping the peace and keeping your integrity. And I need you locked in because these stories are not about surface level who said what. These are about responsibility. They're about boundaries. They're about what happens when truth walks into a room that was built on silence. We are not here to villainize people for having emotions, okay? We are here to call out behavior. And sometimes the behavior is messy. Okay, most of the time. I like messy. Sometimes it's kind of embarrassing too. And sometimes it can be expensive. But the question we ask every time is simple. Who's responsible for the consequences? Not who feels the worst. Not who cries the loudest, not who has the biggest event on the calendar, but who made the choice that started the dominoes falling. So if you're watching live, I want you in the chat. If you're watching replay, I want you in those comments. Drop your verdicts, honey or stinger, drop your thoughts, but keep it grown, okay, and respectful. We can disagree without being disrespectful, right? So remember, we're not judges in a courtroom. We're observers of behavior trying to figure out what makes sense. So buckle up because this one is layered, and I have a feeling some of y'all are going to see yourselves in pieces of it. And that's okay. That's what we do here. And you know what? If you can take a little bit of it home with you and make things a little bit better for yourself, all the better, right? Better, better, better. That's what we're about here. All right, let's get this started. Here is our first story. Fun, fun, fun. Am I the a-hole for telling a pregnant woman she still has to act like an adult? So my wife, 27 female, and I, 31 male, live in an apartment building that has one washer and one dryer shared between 12 units. We have lived here for 6 years with almost no issues. We usually do our laundry on Sundays, as most others in the building use it on different days. Yesterday, around 3 p.m., we checked the laundry room and see both machines are full, but the cycles are finished. In our 6 years here, nobody has taken longer than half an hour to retrieve their laundry, so we set a half-hour timer to go back and check. We come back, nothing has been touched. We repeat this process for 5 hours. Nothing. Same loads. We walk out into the communal area and say loudly that somebody needs to come pick up their laundry. Then we set a 5-minute timer to give them one last chance to grab it. 5 minutes go by. My wife walks into the laundry room and sees that the dryer has been put on a half cycle. We presume because whatever is in there wasn't dry. At this point, we do the math and realize we're going to be up until after midnight doing laundry. So my wife goes into the laundry room, takes the washer load out, places it on the dryer, and starts her load to get a head start. As soon as my wife steps back in the apartment, I hear someone stomping down the stairs and cursing up a storm. I step out of the apartment and see a woman in her early 20s who looked surprised to see me. I would I wouldn't be surprised. That's ridiculous behavior. Magic Dragon. If it don't make dollars, then it don't make sense. Boring. Sorry, it's boring for you. It's not for others. But thank you for coming in anyway. I appreciate it. And I like Magic Dragons. Great name. Okay, so it went on. Whatever forking asshole started the washer better not have left my clothes on the forking floor. And that's probably boring for you too, Magic Dragon. I say forking. I don't drop the F-bombs here. I have a granddaughter in the next room, so I have to be careful. So I tell her that that was my wife who has been waiting 5 hours for you to move your laundry out. That doesn't mean you can touch my shit, she says. I tell her other people live in the building and we're all waiting on you. I have been doing one load after another, asshole. I tell her that we know she hasn't because we saw that nobody has touched the machines until 5 minutes ago. We go back and forth. She proceeds to call me an asshole 4 or 5 more times as I tell her she needs to get her shit out when it's done. Mind you, her stuff is on top of the dryer. We didn't just throw it across the room, which is sensible. All right, so she suddenly blurts out, I'm pregnant, you forking asshole. She likes that word. At this point, I am caught off guard as she does not appear pregnant. Sick of being cursed at outside my front door by someone who is clearly more angry that she's being called out than having her clothes moved, I raise my voice and say, I don't care. You still have to act like an adult. You can't take care of something simple like clothes and you're about to be responsible for a child. Figure it out. Oh, was that harsh? I mean, really? At this point, she has stopped cursing me out and is dead quiet. Tears begin to well up and she starts to cry. Hormones. She lets out one final asshole before running up the stairs. When she come to switch the laundry, we see she left a note on the dryer that said, don't touch my shit. I know she was in the wrong for the laundry, but did I take it too far with my comment? Okay, before we get into that answer, there's an edit, of course. Thank you, everyone, for your responses. This got way more traction than I expected. Here's a few more things to help you understand the context based on common questions in the comments. There is a sign posted that tells people to empty the washer or dryer as soon as their clothes are done. We also get regular reminders emailed to us by the apartment complex. Okay, that's important. It's apartment complex's policies, right? So multiple buildings. So this pops up as an issue with other buildings occasionally. Why did we wait 5 hours? 2 reasons. It's a slow Sunday and we have other stuff going on. We are both recovering from a nasty illness last week, so we were deep cleaning the apartment and catching up on other work that needed to be taken care of. Time crunch didn't really hit us until 4 hours in. In other words, laundry wasn't the biggest priority until it was the only thing left to do. About 4 months ago, somebody did throw someone's clothes into the trash. Wife and I were on vacation at the time, but we saw the emails. I know the person whose clothes were thrown out, different person. He told me it happened less than an hour after the cycle had ended. This set off a shitstorm at our leasing office, and we got a flurry of emails asking us if we knew who threw the clothes out, policy updates, reminders on the importance of being good neighbors, etc. It was a whole thing. We've got other ongoing issues with the leasing office about them owing us money, not trying to complicate that. Obviously, we didn't throw her clothes out, but we didn't want to kick the hornet's nest by moving someone else's clothes unless it was absolutely necessary. Yes, we do pay to do laundry, $2 for a wash, $2 for a dry. Yes, we are aware that this is too much. Yes, we are moving as soon to a place with our own laundry machines. That's your best bet, isn't it? Um, why did I step outside my door? That's a very good question. One I was going to have. Our apartment door is about 8 feet from laundry room door, based on the fact that someone started shouting in the hall and was stomping in the direction of our apartment. I assumed that she would either dump my wife's clothes out of the washer onto the floor or start pounding on our door. Like I said, we were both recovering from being sick, but my wife is feeling worse than I am. I made the split decision to step outside before she caused more of a problem. Okay, you know what? I got some pettiness going here. Listen, this one right here is nuts. This is not about laundry. This is about entitlement wrapped in a pregnancy announcement like it's a damn hall pass. Okay. Y'all have one washer and one dryer for 12 units. 12. That's not a luxury spot. That's communal survival. There is a posted sign that says, get your clothes when you're done. There are email reminders. Come on. This is not hidden knowledge carved into ancient stone. You waited 5 hours. 5. Really? That is not impatient. That is saint level restraint, if you ask me. Most people would have moved that stuff after 30 minutes. Shoot, I wouldn't even give it 30 minutes. And then, kept it pushing. You gave grace. You gave time. You gave loud hallway announcements. You gave a 5-minute courtesy countdown like it's NASA launching a rocket. And when your wife finally moved the washer load and placed it on top of the dryer, not on the floor, not in the trash, not in the parking lot, not in the creek behind the building, just neatly on top of the dryer so y'all could wash your clothes in a machine you also paid $4 to load and use. Suddenly, Miss Stompy McForkmouth comes barreling down the stairs, calling people assholes like she's auditioning for a low-budget reality show. No, ma'am. We are not doing that. You do not get to monopolize a shared machine, ignore it for 5 hours, half cycle the dryer like you're running some underground laundromat operation, and then act shocked that other adults also need to wash their drawers. And then, when she's losing the argument because the facts are not on her side, she drops the "I'm pregnant" bomb like that's supposed to reset the scoreboard. I'm sorry, honey, that's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. And if that is the case, then I don't think what he said was very harsh. Being pregnant does not turn communal appliances into private property. Okay. Being pregnant does not erase posted rules. Being pregnant doesn't mean you can curse people out in the hallway and expect applause. That baby did not tell you to leave your laundry sitting in a machine for 5 hours, and that baby can hear everything you're saying. And God forbid that baby ends up the same way. That baby did not tell you to run multiple loads back to back like you're the queen of suds. Okay. And I know people are going to clutch their pearls and say, well, you didn't have to say that last part. Well, yes, he did. He did. Because sometimes the truth is not soft and scented like dryer sheets, right? Okay. Sometimes it's blunt and it stings. You're about to be responsible for a whole human being, and you can't handle a washer timer. That's not cruelty. That's facts. That's perspective. He didn't attack her body. He didn't mock her pregnancy. He said act like an adult, because she was not acting like an adult, obviously. I mean, asshole is her favorite word. And that is a universal requirement, not a seasonal one. The tears, that's what happens when someone realizes that their trump card didn't work. And no, I'm not talking about the president. I'm not talking about that. B, my friend, good to see you. Good to see you too, Patty, my friend. How are you, honey? Okay, so that's not embarrassment. Um, Pardon me, I just totally lost my spot here. Yep. I don't know why I did that. I hit the wrong button, y'all. Yeah, I was totally looking for my answer here. Okay, look. You did what you were supposed to do as far as I'm concerned. You know, that's embarrassment, not oppression. Now, could he have lowered his tone? Maybe he said it in a better way. Sure. Okay. Could he have said it smoother? Probably. But after being called an asshole 5 times out of your own door while, outside your own door while you're sick and minding your business, uh, here in Texas, we're done being polite for that mess. Y'all be patient. Y'all were patient. Okay. Y'all followed policy. Y'all avoided throwing her clothes out specifically because you didn't want the leasing office smoke, right? You did everything right. She did not. Pregnancy is not a personality. It's not a permission slip. It's not an excuse. And I, I can't imagine what kind of mother she's going to be if that's how she started out. Sorry, not sorry. Shared space really means shared responsibility, period. Dead ass. Because hello, you can't walk in there. I mean, my God, one washer and dryer for all these people. I can't imagine. I can't imagine being without my washer and dryer now. And believe me, I'm a handy man, and I have changed the belt on that thing a couple of times. I've had to change the arm on it, all kinds of things, myself. Saving that penny, you know how I am. But here it is, Be an adult. Just be an adult. It's just crazy. All right. So the OP offered also more. Sorry, I have comments and stuff, as always. Here we go. So the OP means original poster, for those of you that don't know, has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. Now, I can already tell you he's not an asshole just because he did this. I think I might be the asshole because Jen asked me not to tell our... Oh, that's the wrong one. Pardon me. What? Sorry. Not sure what's going on here. Let's see. Copy. My goodness. Yeah, that's not for this one. Forgive me. Okay, I know what we're doing here. This is my fault. Forgive me. Okay, hold on. First commenter. I can't imagine waiting 5 hours to use a community laundry machine. I'd have moved her shit after an hour. You know what? Y'all been giving this lady way too much time. An hour? I'm telling you, I couldn't have lasted after the first 30 minutes. And not said a word. The second commenter says, back when I had to share, if it was done, if it was done when I showed up, it went on the dryer. I didn't play about it. There were 2 washers and 2 dryers for 20 apartments. Keep track, or it got moved. Third commenter says this: I always had a timer going, and I'd be there 1 to 3 minutes before it was done, as I was so paranoid someone would throw my stuff out, even if I came a minute after it was done. And a fourth commenter, they all say the same. That's why I'm reading these off to you. And laundry left in the washer gets mildewed and smells, and that isn't sanitary for the machine. Okay, all really good points. Is my point here. That's why I grabbed these. So Pardon me, Texas weather. Quick and clean, because this edit tells me everything I need to know. First of all, the original poster thinking they're the villain because they ruined the wedding by telling the truth. Or what? Somehow my stuff has gotten all mixed up. I'm not sure how. Let's just fix it this way. Listen, I think what's going on here is simply that he thinks that he's the villain for speaking up. Obviously, he's a different type of person. If you sit and you listen to the language between the two of them, I'm not saying she's trash or anything like that. Okay, she just obviously doesn't have the same kind of attitude that he does. I'm not saying he speaks better words. I'm just saying they're calmer. He's not dropping F-bombs, calling her names, things like that. That's my point. So he is a totally different kind of person, and she is just attacking this person that seems, well, if you ask me, he seems like a pretty nice guy. I mean, they waited 5 hours when they didn't have to. That's pretty incredible, right? I certainly wouldn't have done that, but that's what people do sometimes. So here's my thing, though. Honestly, I wouldn't have put them on top of the dryer. I would put them inside the dryer. No, I wasn't going to pay for the dryer to go. But at least they know that you're not trying to get rid of their stuff. You're just putting it where it's supposed to go next, right? Take it out of the washer, put it in the dryer. If when your load is done washing and they have not come to do anything with that, switch them out. Put their load back in the washer. Put yours in the dryer. Get your clothes done. And you can do that an hour after, 30 minutes, 10 minutes after their load is done. That's polite. That's what I would do. Any apartments that I've ever lived in, we had 10 washers, 10 dryers, okay, for half a complex. Yes, I know that's a lot, and it was much cheaper then. I was young. I'm 54 now, not young. But that's the thing. You know, you have to share. And if you're going to share responsibly. Just put their stuff in the dryer. You know that's where they're going to put it. And they'll think of it as more of a favor. Okay? Wow, you did me a favor. You put it in there. All my stuff is there. Everything's good. All I got to do is put the money in, a dryer sheet, and go. And if they don't show up and you put your stuff in the dryer after putting theirs back in the washer, well, guess what? They don't really know that you even touched their stuff, right? That's my take on this. I think that's fairly, less offensive if you ask me. It doesn't seem like one of those things that, you really have to. It's not right to touch other people's stuff, obviously. But if you do it with respect, you're not going to screw yourself over, right? All right, so you know what time it is. We got that first story done, and I've got the comments through with. They were just a bunch of comments saying pretty much the same thing. But I think that is an easy fix, don't you? Seriously. Just put their stuff from the washer into the dryer like they would do themselves. Wash your load. Come back when your load's supposed to be done. Everything should be fine. Hopefully the dryer is either running or had already ran. If it hasn't, and you know this, pick the clothes back up, put them in the washer you took them out of. It's simple, right? All right, y'all. I will be right back. Y'all enjoy this wonderful song made by me, B.
She came from the quiet storms, built a fire from the ground, turned a whisper to a warning. Now her voice shakes the town. Every setback was a lesson. Every doubt became a key, unlocking something bigger. That's the rise of Boss B. ain't just a channel, this is BBTV. A boss be rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel roads to the neon dreams, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss be rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. She's the queen of the comeback, the storm in the stream, crafting stories out of heartbeats, making visions out of dreams. Got thunder in the hustle, got a voice that cuts clean. Every mic she touches turns the power unseen. So let Bertha spin the numbers, let the views rise slow or fast. Boss beat doesn't pass, this moment is a pivot, this season's history. Bow down to the founder of the BBTV dynasty. Boss be rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel roads to the neon dreams, she built an empire out of broken wings. Not even the ceiling when she hits go live, everybody feels it. She's got fire in the head, it's got truth in the frame. Got a hitter, every dream she sets free. And boss beat, and the world keeps watching as the numbers climb. But she's counting all the moments, not the dollar signs. From the late night grind to the daylight scene, she's building something. Boss be rising, BBTV shining, a legacy in real time. Boss be rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel roads to the neon dreams, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss be rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. BBTV breathe, where the dreamers believe. Boss be rising, watch her take her place. This is BBTV, this is her grace.
All right, we are back again. And I have a new story for you too. This one's a little more involved. That's why I took my break early, so we could go through it the whole way. All right, got that. Let me get that panel if I can. That's not the one. Don't do that. There we go. All righty. And hello, Des. I see ya. How are you, honey? Yep, you made it for the second story. I saved the best for last. Okay. Am I the a-hole for telling my parents the truth about my stepsister's fiance since they now won't pay for her wedding? I, 28 female, have a stepsister, Jen. And yes, I've changed all the names. Jen, 29 female. Our parents got together when we were teenagers, and Jen and I never clicked. Good to see you, man. Okay, Des. Okay, Des, I'll talk to you all again. Oh, goodness. I'm sorry. It is weather crazy in Texas, isn't it, Des? Warm 1 minute, hot the next. All right. Jen and I never clicked. I have nothing against her. We just aren't close. From the ages of 22 to 26, I worked at my stepdad's company, and Jen worked there too, and still does. While working there, I became friendly with a colleague, Pete. Everyone in the office would joke about Pete having a crush on me, but I never saw him like that, and he never said anything, so I didn't pay much attention to the possibility. However, when I started dating my now husband, things got a bit awkward with Pete. When I quit my job, and Pete and I didn't really stay in contact, but we followed each other on social media. It was a few months later that I saw on Pete's social media that he had started seeing Jen. That's not nice. Kind of creepy too. Pete and Jen got engaged last year, and since my stepdad agreed to pay for the wedding, wow. A few weeks ago, an old colleague got married. So me, Jen, Pete, and my parents were all at the wedding. Pete was a little over friendly at the reception, which I put down to alcohol. Goodness, I know, right? Later in the evening, though, I was outside getting some air, and Pete came out and basically propositioned me. Oh, this is not good. This is not good. Okay, I made it clear I was extremely uncomfortable and went back inside. The next day, I called Jen and told her everything. She accused me of trying to ruin her relationship and said that I shouldn't make the whole situation worse by telling her dad, since I'd already done enough to sabotage her relationship. I agreed because I didn't feel I had any right to continue being a spanner in the works. A week ago, I was Skyping my parents, and they were talking about Jen's wedding. They were talking about Pete, and my face must have changed because they immediately asked if something was wrong. I insisted it was nothing, but it turned out they'd seen Pete follow me out at the wedding and had their own theories about what he'd done to upset me, all of which were worse than what actually happened. After 20 minutes of them thinking the worst, I told them the truth. I begged them not to do anything about it since Jen and Pete worked it out. But my stepdad was livid. He called Jen and they had a huge fight, and he refused to pay for the wedding or even attend. Ruh-roh. So Jen has been calling the person I am for ruining her wedding, and I've had messages from her friends telling me how awful it was for me to tell our parents after she asked me not to, and saying how I basically ruined Pete's career, etc. I've tried explaining that letting them continue assuming would have led to worse consequences. Agreed. But apparently, I should have just been able to hide the whole thing somehow. No, you shouldn't. My friends say I did nothing wrong, but my stepdad is now not speaking to Jen, and her whole wedding has been canceled because of me. So, do I feel guilty? Am I the a-hole? Okay, buckle up. This is not about a wedding. This is about a grown man shooting his shot at the wrong sister and then expecting everybody else to manage the fallout. First of all, let's get something crystal clear. Pete propped at a wedding reception while engaged to her stepsister. Okay, there's the elephant. That is not a misunderstanding. That is not too much champagne. That is character. You did not chase him outside, did not entertain it. You shut it down and walked back in. That's adult behavior. Okay. Then you did the next adult thing. You told Jen privately of handling it herself. She flips out and accuses you of sabotage. Oh my. That right there tells me she already knows who she's marrying, and she's more invested in the fantasy than the facts. Then she asked to keep quiet so her dad won't find out. Translation: please protect the lie so my wedding budget stays intact. That's not loyalty, that's damage control. Parents, they noticed something is off because they're not stupid. Okay, they saw him follow her outside. They're building her head. You tried to dodge it. You tried to protect her. They pressed. After 20 minutes of them imagining something even worse, okay, maybe assault, maybe coercion, you told the truth. That's not betrayal. That is correcting a narrative before it mutates into something catastrophic. Come on, it's common sense. And here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to say out loud. Your stepdad didn't cancel the wedding because of you. He canceled it because the manly sponsor just proved he has wandering hands and zero boundaries. If Pete can't keep it together at a wedding reception with the bride's sister, what is he going to do 5 years into a marriage? Your stepdad isn't reacting to gossip. He's reacting to risk. Financial, emotional, reputational risk. And the whole, you ruined Pete's career angle? Oh my God, please. If Pete's career hinges on nobody knowing the proposition, he propositioned his fiance's sister, then Pete ruined Pete's career. Plain and simple, actions have consequences. You are not responsible for shielding a grown man from the results of his own behavior. And let's talk about Jen for a second, because this part is hard. She is redirecting her humiliation into anger at you because it is easier to paint you as the villain than to admit she picked someone who disrespected her before the vows even happened. There you go. If the wedding collapsed, it's because the truth came out. Then the foundation was cracked already. Come on. You did not bulldoze it. You just turned the lights on, and the guilt you're feeling, honey, that's not guilt. That's empathy. Okay. That's you wishing it didn't explode like this. And that's okay. Guilt does not equal wrongdoing. You did not flirt. You did not lie. You did not seek revenge. You told the truth when directly asked after trying to avoid it. You know, you can ask all day for somebody not to volunteer information, but if you're asking them to lie, if I'm going to be asked something, somebody asks me something outright, and I know it's something that I probably, is not my business. This is a request for information. I am not going to lie to this person and say I don't know if I do know. You can lie all you want to, but you're not making me a part of it, period. The only person who detonated this situation is the man who thought he could test the waters and still get sponsored wedding, okay? That's not on him or you. That's on him completely and totally and without question. I mean, come on. That is crazy. When the whole family is around, did he really think nobody would see? That's what I don't understand. Okay. Let's see if I got this one right. Yes, I did finally. The OP, this is the OP that has the offering that I tried to give you earlier. Sorry. OP offering is, he's offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. First off, you're not. Okay. I think I might be the asshole because Jen asked me not to tell our parents, and I could have lied. Also, because by telling them I've ruined Jen's wedding and potentially Pete's future. Okay, we're going to go to the comments because I'm going to go off on this one real quick. Here we go. First comment. Not the a-hole. The wedding has not been canceled because of you. It's been canceled because of Pete. I doubt this is the first time Pete did this to a woman, and that's why your parents thought the worst of what happened. This was probably the last straw. Agreed. Okay. Second commenter. Yes, this is exactly it, not the a-hole. I understand that your stepsis didn't want you to say anything, and if that were it, and she wanted to continue her life with the man who had drunkenly or not propositioned her stepsister, it would be more of a tiebreaker kind of thing. I would assume most people in that would vote that you are the a-hole because it's her life and her crappy choice to make. Whereas I personally would struggle to do that, but ultimately agree it's not a reason to tattle. However, you tried to not say anything. You didn't just blab it to your parents. They saw this slimy man follow you out and you return upset. The only reason you told was to set the record straight, so to speak, because their assumptions were worse than what happened. You were trying to make it better. It's all about intent versus impact. Sometimes we have good intentions, but don't think about what the actual impact will be for the other affected parties. Okay, this is reasonable. In this scenario, the impact would have been worse if you kept your mouth shut and let your parents believe that Pete had assaulted you or something worse like that. You actually lessened the impact to your sister by begrudgingly telling them what happened. Totally agree. Okay, quick and sharp, because this is the heart of it. You think you're the asshole because you could have lied. That right there is the trap. That turns you into the asshole. The moment someone asks you to lie to protect their partner's behavior, they're asking you to carry their consequences. You didn't ruin a wedding. You told the truth after being cornered by two parents who already suspected something worse. That's the key. This wasn't you running to tattletale. This wasn't revenge. You actually tried to protect her. You downplayed it. You insisted it was nothing. They pushed because they saw the red flags themselves. So when you finally told them what really happened, you weren't escalating. You were de-escalating. Because like that second commenter said, their imagination was heading towards something darker. Assault, coercion, something violent. You're correct. You corrected the story to something awful, but not criminal. And that matters. Plain and simple, right? And the first commenter nailed it too. The wedding wasn't canceled because of you. It was canceled because Pete showed who he is. If this was the last straw that tells you your stepdad already had concerns, one uncomfortable truth didn't blow up a stable relationship. It exposed an unstable one. And here's the real adult lesson. Intent matters, okay? Your intent was not to sabotage. It was to prevent a worse misunderstanding. Impact can be messy even when intent is clean. And they're your parents, okay? They've known you for a very long time. They're going to see when you're upset. They've seen it since day one. You can't walk in with that expression and not have them see it. Okay? It makes you, the messenger who refused to lie here, if you ask me. All right, we have another comment. Honestly, it sucks right now, but I'm big. Everything happens for a reason person. I am too. And your stepsister doesn't see it now and may never see it, but you probably just inadvertently saved her from marrying that guy. And again, she might not see it that way ever, especially if she feels that you've meddled in past relationships, especially because it sounds like her guy wanted you all along. And especially because you are married and she isn't, but wants to be. So, for that reason, I think it's important to not minimize her pain or anything like that. But in the long run, nobody deserves treatment like that from one person they're going to marry. Agreed. And breakups are awful, especially when she wants to go ahead and marry this man. And maybe she will on their own dime, which is not super healthy, but sometimes in love, we just can't see that. So even though you say you're not close, maybe this is an opportunity to offer support. Now there is a very, very good take. Whatever her choices may be, just being there for her might be worth having a combo with her as to why she feels like you've affected her past relationships. But also, she continues on with this guy. Please do not let her think that she's lost. Everyone's support, even if it's just you, because if she feels judged continuing on with him, it will be very easy for Pete to isolate her and harder for her to leave if she finally realizes she should. Okay. I can't say that I don't absolutely freaking agree with that, because I am a believer as well. Everything happens for a reason. I believe it wholeheartedly, and maybe that's exactly where she's supposed to be right now. I mean, think about it. Maybe her sister just did the biggest favor she could ever have. Because honestly, think about this guy. If he is this big of an asshole, if he has been that obsessed for that long, I mean, we're talking stalker issues here. And that's only going to hurt the stepsister even more in the long run, because if she marries this man while he's wanting her sister, this isn't the last time he'll try this. Maybe. That's crazy to me. It's really crazy to me. All right, y'all. Take a breath, because that was not light. It's Truthful Tuesday. We don't do light around here anymore. But here's what I want you to walk away with. Truth has consequences, but so does silence. And sometimes the fallout that you're looking at isn't caused by the person who woke up or spoke up. It's caused by the behavior that needed to be exposed in the first place. Listen, accountability feels harsh when you're on the receiving end of it, but it's not cruelty, it's clarity. And clarity is uncomfortable when you've built plans on shaky ground. If you got something out of this conversation, whether it challenged you, validated you, or made you rethink how you handle loyalty in your own life, that's the goal. We're not here to win arguments. We're here to think deeper. And if you're in a situation right now where you're carrying someone else's secret to keep the peace, I want you to ask yourself who that peace is actually protecting. Hey, y'all, drop your final verdicts, stinger or honey, in the comments for me. If you're on replay, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and keep coming back, please, because this space is about growth, not perfection. I appreciate every single one of you who show up. Des, Patty, y'all are the best. All my newcomers that have showed up, you guys, thank you. I shall see you tomorrow for the next one. And guess what? It is What the Fork Wednesday. That's always my favorite. Well, aside from Petty Monday. I think they're all my favorite, really. I have to be honest. I love doing this. I just wish more people were here. But let me tell you something. I've got some regulars that show up for me all the time. And I just love y'all. And Des, you're one of those. Patty friend. And my girl Poetic Tears was here yesterday. I just love it when people show up just out of the blue because it reminds me that, hey, I've got a whole community out here. And listen, Beehive, y'all are the best community. I love you all. Could be honey butt, right? Did you say honey butt? All right, you guys. Y'all get into this tuber chat. Y'all go check them out. Seriously, they're amazing. Make sure you go and you visit Big Jack and Mama Lions. Love you so much. I will see you guys tomorrow, 3 p.m. Central Time. Buzz you later.
I want to take a minute to shout out Tuber Chat. If you're a creator who's tired of surface level advice, yet says, and actually wants to understand how YouTube works, that's the space. It's real conversations with real creators who are in the trenches building channels, testing ideas. No posturing, no gatekeeping, no fake guru energy, just people sharing what's working, what isn't, and why.
If you're serious about growing, learning, and not doing this alone, check out Tuber Chat. The link is in the description. If you're enjoying this show, subscribing is the easiest way to support what's being built here on BBTV. You'll see the join button right next to subscribe. No pressure, no expectations, just an option for people who want to support the channel in a real way. We're live every day at 3 p.m. Central now. And don't worry, we didn't change the heat, just the clock. And if you've got a story you want to share, send it in. Anonymous is always fine.
Boss be right.